Hey, grab a seat. In today's Explainer, we're going to clear the fog around literally the most talked about topic in our industry right now. Think of me as your tech lead, and you're the manager trying to make sense of all those buzzwords flying around the boardroom. We're going to strip away the jargon entirely and build a crystal clear understanding of artificial intelligence. We'll start from the absolute basics and work our way right up to the cutting edge tools our teams are begging to use. But before we get into the heavy lifting, I want to ask you a really simple question. How much AI have you actually used today? Think about it for a second. You might be picturing AI as some futuristic sci-fi concept, or maybe a massive supercomputer humming away in a secret lab. But honestly, you've probably interacted with it half a dozen times before you even walked into the office this morning. Let's run through a quick everyday checklist. Did you unlock your phone using Face ID? Yep, that's computer vision. Did you order groceries on Amazon or, binge Netflix last night? Those platforms run on AI recommendation engines telling you exactly what to buy or watch next. Did you use Google Maps or Uber to dodge traffic? Or even just check your Gmail and notice it automatically filtered out the spam? All of this is artificial intelligence working quietly in the background. It is not the future. It's already fully woven into our daily routines. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll start broadly with the AI umbrella, dive into machine learning, explore deep learning, check out generative AI, and finally wrap it up with the big picture. Let's kick things off with part one, the AI umbrella. I want you to picture AI like one of those Russian nesting dolls. At its core, the outermost, biggest doll is simply artificial intelligence. It's just technology that allows computers to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. That's it. It's really just a broad umbrella term. Look, humans are great at recognizing speech or looking at a photo and knowing what's in it, right? When we build a machine to do exactly that, like a traffic camera that automatically reads a vehicle's number plate and issues a ticket, we're using AI. We're just getting machines to mimic human tasks. Moving right along to part two, machine learning, the data-driven engine. So let's open up that first doll and look at the layer inside. This is machine learning, or ML. Now, the absolutely crucial thing to understand here is the shift from programming to learning. In traditional computer science, a human engineer has to type out every single rule. If X happens, do Y. But machine learning algorithms, they learn patterns from data instead of relying on explicit, hard-coded rules. Once the internet exploded, companies suddenly had massive amounts of data, and that data fueled these algorithms to find patterns totally on their own. Let's ground this with a real-world business example, processing bank loans. If you wanted to build an ML system to decide who gets a loan, you do it in 2 steps. Step 1 is training. You feed the machine thousands of past applicant records. We're talking credit scores, salaries, education levels, and tell it who was approved and who defaulted. The machine finds the hidden patterns. Then, step 2 is inference. A brand new applicant walks in. The machine uses the logic it just learned during training to make a prediction, accept or reject. That training to inference pipeline, that is the beating heart of machine learning. Okay, so how do we actually train these machines? It essentially boils down to 3 main ways. First up is supervised learning. This is where we give the machine clearly labeled data, like manually marking emails as spam or not spam, so Gmail learns the difference. Second, we have unsupervised learning. This is when the data is completely messy and unlabeled, and the machine just has to group things together on its own. Think of clustering thousands of daily news articles into politics, sports, or tech. And finally, my personal favorite, reinforcement learning. Think of this exactly like training a dog. You give a command, and if the dog gets it right, treat. If it's wrong, a penalty. The machine learns via rewards and penalties to achieve a goal, whether that's winning a game of chess or navigating a self-driving car down the highway. Let's peel back another layer. Part 3, deep learning, or the digital brain. Here's a question for you. What happens when our data isn't neatly organized in a spreadsheet? What happens when our data gets really messy and unstructured? We open the next nesting doll. Deep learning. Standard machine learning is fantastic at handling neat rows of data like those loan applications. But if you want to analyze thousands of hours of YouTube videos, millions of raw images, or chaotic chat logs, standard ML is going to struggle. Deep learning steps in right here. It uses artificial neural networks, which are literally inspired by the neurons in your own brain, to process incredibly complex, unstructured data. So how does this digital brain actually learn anything? It uses a process called propagation. First is forward propagation, where the network makes a prediction or a guess based on the input. Then comes backward propagation, where it calculates its mistake, its loss, and adjusts its internal weights so it can do better next time. Think of a college grading system. Let's say a teacher calculates a final grade using midterms, finals, and pop quizzes, each with a specific weightage. If students start skipping the quizzes, the teacher might increase the weight of the quizzes to force attendance back up, right? They adjust the weights to fix the outcome. Neural networks do the exact same thing, automatically tweaking millions of tiny weights through trial and error until their predictions are spot on.
Getting to the fun stuff now. Part 4, Generative AI, Creating Content.
Now we've reached our final, innermost doll, generative AI, or Gen AI. The absolutely critical point to grasp here is the massive shift in what the AI is actually doing. Everything we've talked about up until now, AI, ML, deep learning, was mostly focused on analyzing existing data, classifying it, and predicting outcomes, like is it a dog or a cat, approve or reject the loan. But generative AI is a whole different beast. It generates entirely new original content that simply didn't exist before. Text, audio, video, code. It's a creator. Because your teams are definitely going to be asking for budgets and licenses for these tools, here is your practical manager's cheat sheet. For generating text, you've got the heavy hitters: ChatGPT by OpenAI, Claude, Google's Gemini, and Meta's Llama. Need to generate images? Tools like Midjourney and DALL-E are leading the pack. Your developers are probably already begging for GitHub Copilot to help them write code faster. And for generating highly realistic video completely from scratch, platforms like Sora are an absolute game changer. And just so you have the complete vocabulary for your next meeting, when we use text-based tools like ChatGPT, we're relying on two specific pieces of tech. First, NLP, or natural language processing, which teaches machines to interpret human languages like English. And second, LLMs, or large language models. These are exactly what they sound like: massive deep learning models trained on literal mountains of internet text, articles, and books, which is what allows them to predict and generate those incredibly natural human-sounding responses. Finally, part 5, the big picture. Let's put this all together. We have officially unpacked the whole nesting doll. If you walk away with just one mental map from today, let it be this: artificial intelligence is the broad concept of machines doing human-like tasks. Machine learning is the data-driven engine that powers those tasks by finding patterns. Deep learning is the neural brain that steps up to handle messy, unstructured data like images and video. And generative AI, that's the creator that takes all that deep understanding and builds entirely new content from scratch. So there you have it. Now that you've got this structured roadmap and you truly understand the core difference between predicting data and actually creating, the power shifts back to you. The technology, it's really just a tool. The real magic is how we apply it. So, taking a hard look at our company's bottlenecks and our customers' needs, what are we going to build next?